Hi, everyone. My name is Dave, and welcome to Extra Credit, a video series where we take an unscripted look at topics related to local history and exploring that history. All right, so as we normally do at the start of every episode, just a quick reminder to visit my website. You're going to find a link in the description. There, you're going to find all kinds of content related to the topics we take a look at in this video series, and then some, including a section for extra credit. So if you're new to this video series, if you haven't seen any of the videos, you can go there and you can see all of the past episodes. Or if you've seen extra credit before, you can go back and take a look at maybe an episode that you've missed, or you want to revisit an episode. Additionally, you're going to find some topics that we are going to be getting to. Sorry, Luna wants to come and visit here and she wants to play. Um, Episodes that we are going to be getting to in the future. So topics that we haven't quite gotten to, but we're going to be getting to into the coming months. So you have a little heads up on to things that we're going to be taking a look at down the road. Now, additionally, you're going to be able to find me on social media. So you're going to be able to find me on things like Facebook. You're going to find me on Twitter or X, and you're going to find me on Instagram. And last but not least, if you haven't already done so, please make sure that you subscribe to the channel. You turn on the notifications. There's all kinds of content that drops regularly on the channel. And if you're waiting for it to come out on social media, oftentimes there is a lag, there's a delay. So for example, I haven't posted any of my exploration videos from this year yet onto social media. I've been sort of behind the ball a little bit. There's been a lot of things that have been going on. So again, there's a lag, there's a delay between when they're posted here on the channel and then when they come out on social media. So if you subscribe to the channel, turn on the notifications, you're going to get those videos just as soon as they are posted here on YouTube. So let's have a look at today's topic. But first of all, I want to wish everybody a happy New Year. Today is the 2nd of January, so we are into 2025. So hopefully everybody's 2024 went okay, and everybody's looking forward to the new year coming up. We're back in the somewhat cozy confines of the Cap. This is my first visit out here in about a month. Just came out to sort of check on things and obviously film the video. It is quite chilly outside today. It's been fairly mild the last little while. We had kind of I'll show you some outdoor shots here as we're talking here. So we had a dump of snow at the beginning of December. Haven't really had much snow since then. It was kind of cold, and then right around Christmas it warmed up to the point where on the 28th, it actually rained, not the 28th, before Christmas. It rained all day, and I think it rained after Christmas as well, too. So we've had some days of rain in there. There's not a ton of snow out here. I drove in. Everything's like crunchy and hard, the snow, because obviously it rained and then it froze. But in any case, it's nice to be back out here at camp, and hopefully soon enough, we'll be back into spring, and then we can get back out here. We can get back into hiking and all the things that we enjoy. So speaking of which, the topic of today's episode is yet another one in our Kinghorn exploration series, or sub-series, I guess. So we have done videos on exploring the Kinghorn. Obviously, this is just going out and sort of pointing out key places, and sort of just sort of going over things if people just want to go and take a look at these places. So what's interesting is the previous month's episode was another one in our Getting There sub-series. And so what we did is we actually recorded ourselves driving from here at camp, driving out to the hike that we did in close to Geraldton at Wildgoose Lake. So we basically filmed leaving the camp and basically driving out there to where we started the hike. So this video is basically us traveling on the railway grade, and at the same time we were doing that, so we literally filmed 3 videos that day. We filmed the driving portion. Luna's got a toy here and she wants the tug. We filmed this portion where we actually traveled on parts of the grade, and then while we were doing that, I had the drone and we were filming, basically the railway grade, because we had done a series of, we had basically gone through the area in 2023. I have to remember to think that because we're in 2025 now. So we basically redid, we had gone through the area back in 2021, I think. 2023, we redid it because there was some new information that we want to talk about. The dog's like yanking me here as she's pulling her toy. And then I wanted to see the area with the drone because in this particular area, just to the east of Wildgoose Lake, so she's got a tug toy here, and she's I have my hands on it, and she's like she loves to tug, and so she's yanking me here as I'm trying to talk. And so I wanted to see the area by the drone because basically this area, again, just to the east of Wild Goose Lake, so west of Geraldton, the railway grade passes through a series of lakes, Ess Lake, and spelled ESS, and Porthos Lake. Yes, Porthos, like one of the Three Musketeers, Porthos. I don't know where the name came from. Anyway, it's really neat to see how they build the railway grade through the area. So I wanted to take the drone and I wanted to fly the drone through the area to give basically people an idea of how interesting the grade is with these long causeways through parts of the lake. And so literally, again, we filmed 3 videos at the same time. So again, basically, this is basically a little summary of the area. We started just to the east of Ess Lake, right where basically it starts going through these chains of lakes. There's quite a number of things to see in the area. In particular, other than those causeways going through parts of the lake, there was a former stop in the area. So there was a water tank that was built in the area in the 1930s and was used up until the 1950s. And really, there's no name for it. It was located at Milepost 28, so I call it the Milepost 28 water tank. And basically, you can see the remains of the water tank. You can see the pad, and then there's basically a section house, or what they call a section house, which was most likely a pump house. Probably would have been used as a section house as well, because with those water tanks, they needed to be heated in the wintertime to keep the water from freezing. So somebody had to be there to basically tend to the water tank and make sure that it did not freeze. And so you see the remains of the water tank. There's some milepost markers as well that basically you'll see as well, and just some very beautiful geography. So without any further ado, let's take a look at the video.
Okay, so let's go on our adventure here. So again, we are just to the west of Geraldton. We are just east of what is known as Ess Lake, and that's spelled ESS. We are just a little ways from Milepost 28 and the water tank that was located at Milepost 28. You're going to see the milepost marker. You're going to see the water tank and what's left of the section house. Right in through here, there was a big ballast pit, and so they basically dug gravel. You're going to see as we move through here a lot of glacial features, so lots of little till ridges and things like that. And so essentially the railway grade here, you can see it's curving. This is Ess Lake here. The railway grade curves through here, and then in between it basically cuts through these deposits of till, right? And so this is all sort of glacial features. Hopefully the cloud stays away, because we kind of have a job to do here. We are shooting some drone video at the same time that we're doing this, and we don't want it to cloud over, so we kind of gotta hustle a little bit here, because it's blowing this cloud in. So again, you can just basically see the geography of this area. You essentially have this glacial landscape, right? You have all of these small little lakes that basically were formed by glaciation, and then in between you have, as I said, all of these little till deposits. And so we're going to be coming up to one here. So again, this area here just off to my right, this was all, they dug ballast in through here, and so you can see it's all kind of flooded. Normally when there's no wind, the lakes are pretty clear in here, and you can see quite a ways down. You might see that coming up here on this other piece of Ess Lake here. And again, this would have all been filled in. This is all basically fill to form the right-of-way here. You can actually see a lot of the stones that they deposit in here, a lot of the rock work that they put in to form the right-of-way. And so this is what I was referring to here, these till ridges, right, where you have all of this this sand and material that was deposited by the glaciers. And again, they would have used this for ballast, right, because you have a very plentiful source of gravel that you can use. So right here, they basically cut through this entire ridge. Right here you can see telegraph pole that somebody has yanked out and put beside the grade, pieces of it. And so right up here you have, just coming up right here again, so you can see there was more ballast that was dug from here. The dog's still with us here. So right up here we're coming up to the Milepost 28 water tank. So this was not an original water tank on the line. This was added afterwards. It was added, oh brother, do we got internet here? Let's see if we can look this up, because I don't remember. Should have looked at it beforehand. Okay, so it was added in 1931, and basically it was a result of a reorganization with the line. And so there were water tanks at Langmuir, and there was one at Kemel. And basically what happened is that by the 1930s we had bigger locomotives that could travel farther. They didn't need as much water because they had a bigger tender capacity for their water. And so they removed those two water tanks, and then they put the one in here. And this one was here until 1957, right when they started sort of discontinuing, you know, steam locomotives on the line. So you can see, this is probably one of the best preserved ones that you can see on the line, just because it's so visible. And you can see the four pads. Piece of a telegraph pole down here, so you can see the four pads, and you can see the main center column of the water tank. The uptake pipe is right there. All right, so you can imagine this water tank kind of sitting right here, and just over here, and you would have to have this for every water tank. You would have to have a section house. Some people refer to this as the pump house. On the CN map that I have, it says that it's a section house. It may have been used to house the pumping mechanism as well, to pump the water. It wasn't a particularly big structure. It's really neat because you could see it's built on a concrete pad, and you can see the clay, the red clay sort of cinder block bricks that they use to construct the outside of the structure. You can see parts of the roof. You can see the chimney in here as well. So it's kind of a neat little thing. And then over here, I don't know if we can see it. I was told that if you kind of pay attention, see the water's all stirred up on this side, so you can't really see very far in there. But apparently the intake pipes are over here, if I'm not mistaken. They're on, I'm pretty sure they said on that side. So you can see over here, this side of Ess Lake is clearer, but I'm pretty sure they said somebody told me on that side of the grade. Again, you can see how clear the water is on this side of Ess Lake. Okay, let's keep going here. We're gonna probably lose our sun. And so you can see yet another one of these causeways here. Again, all built with fill. You can see all the rock in there. You can see how clear the water is on this side. It's been a little rainier as of late, and so there's a bit more sediment that's been stirred up. And so normally you can see quite a distance into this into the water here. Remember when I was here last year re-shooting the exploration video, saw a whole bunch of fish. There's a culvert here, and there was a whole bunch of fish that swam through the culvert from one side of the grade to the other. They all came right through here. And so here, right in through here, is the post for Milepost 28. Unfortunately, the sign is gone. The sign is no longer there, sadly. So can't show you that. But again, so little causeway, and we're back in through one of these till ridges, right? So again, these glacial features. Again, you can see a whole bunch of big timbers here, just in the bush there. Again, there's probably a good chance that some of these were trestles. There might have been some trestle work that would have been filled in here instead of having culverts, because I'm going to point one up just up ahead, close to Milepost 29. And you're going to see that there was a trestle, and then they basically filled it in and just stuck a culvert in there instead of having the trestle work. So again, in through another till ridge here. And then we leave Ess Lake behind, and now we are going to be coming on to what is known as Porthos Lake. Now, one of the mysteries sometimes is how and why things get named the way that they do. I have no idea where the name Porthos comes from, like in this context. I know the name Porthos as a history teacher, because if you're familiar with the story of the Three Musketeers are named Athos, Porthos, and D'Artagnan. So again, why did this get called that in particular? No idea. All right, so we're gonna hold up here because we're gonna shoot the drone up again, and then we're gonna do a little bit of recording, and then we'll hop back up on the bike. It's not going to be as rough here because it's a little more sheltered. It's unfortunate because if this part is calm, you can see very, very well into the water. So for example, you can see things like this. So you can see the cribbing and the base for telegraph pole. Holy moly. TV, if anybody needs one. Again, the water's very, very clear. I'm not quite sure why. I don't know if it's the shallowness or the bottom. Again, you can see another base of a telegraph pole. Yeah, it's unfortunate, this wind. Was one of the things I was hoping that, you know, with the drone you could kind of see the clearness of the water, but I guess that's not happening. So there's supposed to be something here beside the grade. Oh my god, ballast is just brutal. Did I miss it? No, there it is. So we do have a piece of signage here So this is a variation of a flanger sign. This is an obstruction warning. So basically on the flanger plow, there's a middle plow that clears the inside of the track, and then there's often wings. There's a spreader plow that pushes the snow away from the grade. And so the reason for that is there's an obstruction that is coming up here. So that was lying in the grass, and when I was here 3 years ago, never saw it. So last year, it was earlier, so it was in May, and we came here and I saw the sign and I kind of pulled it out of the grass a little bit so it's a bit more visible. So the reason for the obstruction warning is this. Now, as I mentioned, some of these causeways may have been trestles at some point. So there actually was a piece of trestle work right here. So right where this culvert is located, there was trestle work. And what they did was they pulled out the trestle work, obviously, because it's needs more maintenance than a culvert, and put in a culvert. It wasn't particularly big trestle. Off the top of my head, I want to say it's like 28 feet or something like that. So the reason for the obstruction warning is you can see basically there's two pieces of rail that are hammered into the ground, and they don't want the spreader plow to damage the conduit. So that's the conduit for the fiber optic cable that runs alongside the line, and so basically they're making sure that it doesn't get taken out. Okay, so let's hold up here for a second, and then we're going to put the drone up again before it clouds over, and then we'll resume. All right, let's resume our journey here. Oh my God. I love the ballast, let me tell you. It's my favorite. So we got one more piece of Porthos Lake here that we have to go through. Again, just kind of neat how they do these things, right? Like, I mean, we got to go through part of a lake, we got to go through part of a lake. It is what it is. Now, they probably picked this because I think there were some rooting issues up to the north. They basically had to bump around Wildgoose Lake, which is a big lake. These lakes aren't particularly deep, so it's not really a concern. Wildgoose Lake is deep. So we do have a few features on here. We have some cribs from the telegraph poles, and then right up here we have a milepost marker. So this is milepost 29, and again, if you hear me talk about on the usual railway explorations, that's the Kinghorn mileage, and that didn't start until 1924. Prior to that, the mileage was different because the line used to start in Hornpain as opposed to Gerald, so as opposed to Long Lac, and so the mileage was different. You have to add 100.8 miles, and so that becomes 129.8. All right, right up here, I'm going to slow down and I'm going to grab the dog, because when we were coming east earlier, we came out of that tree line and I could see something on the grade, and I'm like, what the heck is that? It was a skunk. And I grabbed Luna because the skunk was actually coming towards us. I guess it was walking along the causeway. I grabbed Luna and she was going mental because she wanted to go after the skunk, which is not cool. Okay, let's hold up here for a second. Look at me. Who rolled in something stinky? Who rolled in something stinky? You stink. Ugh, gross. Now I'm gonna have to give you a bath when you get home.
All right, so hopefully you enjoyed sort of the our journey through the area. Sort of thinking back, and again, we did that in June. It is now January, so it's been quite a while since we did that, and now we're sort of now I'm trying to recollect what happened. Things that really jump out in the mind that you saw in the video, the bugs were just absolutely atrocious. Basically, we were just swarmed by the bugs, and thankfully, it kind of impacted the drone videos a little bit because I wanted it to be wanted a little less wind because you could basically see further into the lakes. The water is very, very clear. There's not a lot of movement in the water, so you can basically see down quite a bit. Unfortunately, there was wind, which kind of disrupted that. Now, the positive side of that is it helped to keep the bugs away because it was just absolutely brutal with the bugs. Now, as you did see in the video, we did have a little bit of excitement because right at the start of the hike there, right as we were traveling to the east and we passed over that first causeway, I was literally stunned to see there was a skunk coming, and trying to restrain Luna and trying to keep her from, going to the skunk and getting sprayed was a real treat. And then coming back, going through that same area, and now sort of, being worried about where this skunk was at, and again trying to make sure I really need to, in my tactical vest, need to put like a small leash or something like that, just simply that I have something to tie her up with instead of, in the first time basically holding onto her leash, and the second time using a couple of shoelaces tied together to basically try to hold her back, and that is not really a great solution to the situation. Now, in a little sort of side note, Luna did eventually figure out skunks. So back in October, and literally, it was it was a Friday, right before we were supposed to be hiking on the Saturday. So basically, I put her out in the morning, and she ended up getting sprayed by a skunk. And so my wife and I, right before we had to go to work, so this is like 5:30 in the morning, we are trying to madly clean the dog because she just absolutely reeks of skunk, and trying to clean her up the best that we can before we can go to work. And so that was a real treat. So Luna has experienced the joys of being sprayed by a skunk, and then obviously, as you saw at the end of the video there, once we got back to the truck, she had somewhere along the line rolled in some poop, which I'm always on guard for her trying to do because for some reason, apparently dogs enjoy doing this, rolling in, you know, some animals poop, and then it gets, especially it's right along her neck, and it gets on her collar, and it's just it was not a pleasant drive home. Just the smell. I tried to clean her up the best that I could before we started driving. Obviously, she was in the truck, and then once I got back to camp here, I had to give her a bath and clean her up. So in any case, it wasn't particularly pleasant. But anyway, hopefully you enjoyed the little exploration. Make sure you check out the video. I'll put links in the description. Make sure you check out the video of us driving to the area, so you can see basically how we kind of got there. And then make sure you check out the video that we filmed with the drone of the area, and so basically you can see it from the air. Again, it gives you a very, very different perspective on things. So we are going to be back with yet more videos in this Kinghorn exploration series, or basically this kind of mini exploration series. We also have ones going for the other railway line that we're working on, which is the Grand Trunk Pacific, and I've got some episodes coming up on that. We did some on the Pigeon River Lumber Company, right? So there's lots of these little sort of fieldwork episodes that maybe are a little bit more interesting than just sort of being inside the camp here and just basically talking about it. You can actually see some of these places, and if you really want to see the detail, then you can get into the full exploration series and essentially see sort of the step by step route of these railway lines and basically what is there. So in any case, hopefully you enjoyed this. Again, we've got a lot more content that's coming up on this series and on the YouTube channel as well. So hopefully, again, you're subscribing. If you have any suggestions for topics that you want me to take a look at, things that you would like me to sort of delve into, please leave them in the comments and I'll see what I can do. Again, I do have a list of things that are already planned or already on tap, but there's always room for new ideas and places that we could sort of get into. But in any case, thanks for tuning in. Again, hopefully you enjoyed the exploration. And again, we're going to be back just as soon as we can next month with yet another episode. So in the meantime, take care and stay safe.